A new music video? Best of threes? Fearless? It's back to stay? We are so back, baby. But is G2 back? That's one of the big questions after the Samurai ran headfirst into the blue wall. Let's see if our first stand heroes KC can continue their success. And speaking of success, or starting with the lack thereof, Fnatic continues their if you can't beat him, join him strategy, now employing yet another ex-G2 member with Duffman in the hopes of finally winning a title in 7 years? I mean, even Navi, Rogue won a title before that. In any case, in the battle of Spain versus France, Movistar Koi and KC and Heretics as the water boy, Movistar Koi has some catching up to do. After last split, they were left wishing Jojo Pune would come in late, so maybe he wouldn't be inting so much in the game. But at least he doesn't have a friend like Niski, because with a friend like Niski, who needs enemies? You're telling me the guy isn't Hillesag's biggest op? From teammates to job stealer, talk about making space. And for GIANTX, maybe Gyotto should consider some mouth tape in between games. I don't think I forgot anyone. SK and Vedius are also still here, but I think if we have all the ingredients to have an absolutely banger split, LEC Spring starts right now!
And I think going into the final, we kept a lot of the same plans, but K-Corp managed to adapt a lot from that 1 week to the next, and they just smashed us.
Coming Core are your new kings of winter.
Skarner, the hero of France! That's gonna be the game! They will bring Europe to an international final for the first time in 5 years!
It'll be fun to go up against them and see like what they've learned at the tournament, and it's also a good lesson for us, and I think we will not repeat the same mistakes again.
My bad, guys. Don't worry about it.
Nice try.
Let's try.
We lost ourselves a bit in playoffs. It's gonna be way more smooth, at least I hope it's gonna be.
We underperformed really hard. We cannot promise you that we will win the split, but we can promise that we will give our 100% every single day.
Look at Koi, they don't want to join back in, but Mewen will do it himself! He flips, he smacks, and yes, Mewen can!
I think we should have easily won the best of 3. We need to just learn from each other. I would not want to do 5-6 again.
1-1-3 is just trying to buy some time for his team as you somehow gets out, scan of the week, and they still find kills as the triple comes through, and Irrelevant takes Fnatic to court.
It feels great to join the LEC. I want us to fight for every win, and when I enter the LEC, instantly be one of the best ADCs in the LEC. That's my goal for now.
We reached like the bottom of the bottom, so that means it cannot be worse than in winter, so we can show maybe a new face or Rogue.
Team Heretics might look like they're fine, but now Carlson's got some shutdowns. Noah's running for his life, and Carlson, though, uppercuts him.
Our literal goal to want to make playoffs. I think it's for sure my time now to pedal to the metal.
We had big wake-up call. I just don't want this to happen again in Spring Split, so I will put everything to win.
The Team Heretics, as they get eliminated, it is the GIANTX who move on to tomorrow.
I was shocked when I heard about Niski going support on our team, but he's working really hard for it, and I think he will do fine.
I'm happy that he's back. I think the role suits him more than mid lane, but I don't know how fast you can adapt to our roles.
If you add to that like Fearless and no lane swap anymore, it's like, this is my main.
I think KC beating G2 is a big thing for EU in general, and I think it's good motivation for every other team in the league.
That centers on the Dragon, but it's again the Smite King of Winter. Oh my God! And Korea just know how to blow G2 apart. Skarner hits them all once more.
I'm coming for them, and I'm gonna be the best this split.
Oh God, the redemption target.
For sure, K-Corp is gonna come in and fight Coggy into Spring Split, knowing both Yike and Tagamas. But this story has not finished yet, and we'll definitely give them a reality check.
You just air off dominance with NDC.
Welcome to the LEC Spring. It is our pleasure, mine and Vedius, to bring you the first best of 3 of the split. Fnatic taking on GIANTX, a single round robin 7-week-long best-of-3 bonanza lies ahead of us here, Ben.
That it does, Medic. We'll see what the teams have been preparing for us, because it feels like non-stop league action. It was only a few weeks ago that the winter split concluded. We went to first stand, and now we're back into the thick of it, ready to fight for those playoff spots. Fnatic returning after, I would say, a frustrating end to the winter split, after being a single game short of making it to the finals.
How many years have we said that for in a row? Since 2018, every end of split for Fnatic has been a little bit more frustrating than you'd like it to be, and hopefully the addition of Duffman helps them clean up some of those issues that they were having, especially in the mid-late game. The question is that enough for them? GIANTX obviously switching things around as well a little bit in the offseason.
Yeah, they're introducing Isma into the jungle role, moving over from SK, who had a difficult split in winter. We'll see if this change in environment can serve him well. We've seen players just thrive when their environment changes around them, when they have the opportunity to work with different players. And this GIANTX roster, they kicked off the winter split furiously with fantastic results, a lot of praise with regarding their scrim performances, and while they finished in 6th place, 5th, 6th at the end of last split, I think the expectations were a little higher given how strongly they started. So we'll see if they can continue to build off of that momentum and how much growth they've been able to make in this short amount of time. We're jumping into draft. We don't have to wait much longer. Best of 3, Fearless, already here in the regular season.
And how much will change from winter? I think not too much, I'm going to be honest. We are seeing roaming mid start to take the 4. Ryze, Galio, Taliyah really up there in terms of people's priorities. Gwen and Neferi, the 2 big picks that I expect to see banned out in most games today. Very powerful. Neferi in the jungle just seems like an absolute terror now that they've given her that invulnerability or untargetability on her W.
Of course, here in the LEC, we play on the live patch, so 25.06 you can see at the bottom of your screen. And Poppy receiving some sizable buffs over time, especially jungle Poppy. Razork used to be very well known for the pick, with Kalista going to be joined alongside the Taliyah. Both Vi and Maokai, 2 of Razork's best picks from winter, going to be removed from the pool, and the final Neferi will be joining them. So Jace, Gwen, Rumble, all priority picks. What will the lock-in be for Fnatic?
I honestly think, Skarner's going to be picked up. It was nerfed a little bit recently, so not as strong as it was. Gwen immediately answered by GIANTX. I was going to say,
it's Gwen Sejuani,
a little bit surprised that Fnatic didn't just go for the Gwen. She is blind pickable, can be countered by things like the Jax and the Jace in the top lane, but still so powerful in the right hands. And as you say, very good prediction, Gwen Sejuani the lock-in for GIANTX.
Question is, Jax perhaps the priority? We were talking to Finn earlier. I was asking him, how do you deal with Gwen? He'd say, well, Jax would be my immediate pick. Jace could also be a solid answer. We'll have to see whether that is the direction they go for. Yone is going to rise in priority, though, here for GIANTX, especially with both the Gwen and the Sejuani locked in. They want that AD threat in the mid lane, and Fnatic going to look to try and pick that one away. So how will they now round out their draft? Do they want to lock in something like the Varus, strong AD carry, or perhaps they want to guarantee that strong topside match? Remember, there are still Jace, Rumble, Jax, all very viable options on the top side of the map.
Yone nerfs come in next patch, so enjoy hopefully the last vestiges of Yone that we're going to see for a while. That champion has been terrorizing both solo queue and professional play for far too long. Rumble is the lock. Does make sense when you have an AD mid laner that you want some magic damage from the top side, because otherwise you're looking at Upset and Mikyx having to play magic damage in bot lane, which not always Upset's wheelhouse, let's be honest. GIANTX now probably looking towards their mid as an answer for this Yone.
I imagine they're going to go for, I was going to say some sort of AD mid, and Tristana going to be the lock-in. So I think it was clear that Fnatic denied the Yone pick away from GIANTX, so they're going to shift, go for that AD carry in the mid lane. So the top side locked in for both sides. GIANTX, the big thing you need to know about Gwen, if you haven't been keeping up with the changes to the game, is that they wanted to average her out a little bit. They don't want her late game to be as super strong as it was, and they want her early game to be a little bit stronger. What that's turned her into is just a better all-round champion, because her late game, while weaker than it was, still very good. Now her early game is just better, and it's much easier to get through the laning phase than it was before, making her that strong blind pickable champion. So a solid top side for GIANTX, but Fnatic, no slouches either, with a lot of team fight value, a lot of utility, simply due to the Skarner and the Rumble combo, with easy follow-up coming from the Yone as well. So I think both sides pretty happy with what they've gotten so far in the first half.
Both sides have those supports and AD carries left to pick. Xayah taken away by GIANTX. There is always the very, very small possibility that Tristana gets flexed into Noah's hands in bot lane, but expectations are, as you say, that you want the AD mid with that Gwen top. Xayah was slightly buffed on 25.6 or however we're naming them, the most recent patch. Varus alongside it hasn't been touched in a while. It's making waves in the LPL, so no real surprises with those bans so far. Kalista already taken off the menu. Looking towards things, you could go towards a Draven, Ezreal, a Felios, all up there in terms of contention. Yeah, Jin got buffed as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of AD carry options. It ultimately depends on what direction they're thinking about. If I'm GIANTX, I want to play through my top side. I want to try and get this Gwen ahead, so I would pick something relatively safe on the bot side of the map. So Ezreal would make a lot of sense. Also Ezreal, Tristana, I think long range, solid front to back. They'd want to pair this up now with a pretty reliable engage. I think Leona could be fantastic. You've then got a great front line with solid engage options. Fnatic might identify this and try to take it away. The Xayah ban as well, directed towards upside as a solid answer, makes a lot of sense. They're going to go for the Xayah. Okay, I mean, you imagine Rakan is going to be the immediate pair up, especially with Mikyx, long known for his Rakan performances. And Xayah Rakan going to be the lock-in. So Fnatic, very team fight driven, strong bot side of the map especially. I imagine they're going to look to play a little bit more through Upset and Mikyx, which makes sense when it is Upset and Mikyx, and we know their 2v2 laning was something they were very confident in it last split.
And Nautilus will be the answer here from Jun. Good roaming support, has a lot of engaged potential, especially alongside the Sejuani. You know, auto attack into Sejuani CC, into hook. There's just so much combo there for them. Also okay into the Rakan as well. If he tries to jump in, you can hook him out of his grand entrance. If he pops the quickness, you pop the depth charge on him and try and make sure that he can't get on towards your backline. But both teams seem very much like they are looking towards that team fighting. There's a little bit of poke out of the Ezreal on GIANTX's side, a little bit of poke out of the Yone as well, because he can unbind his soul, jump in, put a bit of damage down, and then snap back to reality. But overall, my expectations are this is going to be a very team fight focused game, Vedi.
Definitely seems like that. I favor GIANTX's comp a little bit more just because of the range advantage that they have, and I don't think Fnatic quite have the tools to kind of help close that gap, but I imagine it's going to be very front to back focused, which is where I feel GIANTX's comp just thrives a little bit more, especially with the introduction of Gwen. We know how effective she can be as a frontliner thanks to her W, and so much of that backline damage then doesn't really come through from Fnatic. So slightly favoring GIANTX's composition. We'll see how things pan out, because the early game, I think Fnatic's bot lane have a ton of options, and if this Rumble gets ahead, we know how powerful the champion can be. Excited to get into this one. It is a best of 3. And Fnatic, GIANTX looking to kick us off.
We set a new world record as well. 6-second Fnatic pause, which is why we're not jumping into the game straight away. It's traditional Fnatic tactics, you know?
Traditional.
In any game, must pause immediately, see what happens. Does look like it was actually Jack using pause the game, so that whole narrative's out the window, but we can pretend, Vedi.
We can pretend.
We can make it up.
Yeah,
obviously, players still getting comfortable, getting back into their positions. The set is used by the Valorant set as well, so maybe some things were in the wrong place, maybe lights were in people's eyes, maybe someone just didn't have their glass of water or bottle of water.
Sippy cup.
Yeah, sippy cup. Very important for players to have sippy cups.
It is crucial. In fact, I believe it's mandatory because we don't trust them anymore.
Understandable. Let's be honest, as it does look like everyone is jumping out of the game. We will find out exactly what happened for you as soon as we can, obviously, and hopefully get a new lobby up as quickly as we can. And maybe just some settings issues, maybe something to do with a room page not properly registering. But as soon as we know, you'll know. And what better way to start off the split than with a little bit of extra time? To talk about first stand, talk about how things went, Vedi?
Just a quick update. It turns out that there was a rune bug, which means that the lobby needs to be remade, and we're currently going through that process. So you're not going to have a gameplay for a little bit longer. The tension continues to mount. We know you're eager, excited. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, 2 p.m. is an early start, I'm going to be honest. My PC in front of me does say it's 7:26 a.m. I think it might be set to a slightly different time zone than the current one. But yeah, are players usually up by this time?
I mean, that's a great question.
It is a good question, right? Although I think scrims tend to start a little bit earlier in the day, so
true.
Most people probably up by at least 11 a.m.
but they usually don't scrim on a Saturday.
That is true.
So,
but you wouldn't really want it. Would you change your whole sleep schedule for the Saturday? Would you sleep in? Would you stay up longer on Friday?
Well, asking me that question is a tricky one.
But you're the most gamer of the two of us. You know?
Recently, I've been very good. My bedtime has been earlier, and I've been getting up in the mornings. And I will say...
Getting up in the mornings does not classify
no, it does.
as being a good adult.
It does, Fnatic. It really does.
Before 12 p.m., I have arisen from my slumber.
Correct,
okay.
Yes. But then, Thursday night, we were playing some board games.
No, we were playing Magic the Gathering. You've officially become part of the party.
And then I may have been over-consumed by a certain addiction, and I may have stayed up until 6 in the morning playing a certain game.
Importantly, Magic the Gathering.
So my sleep schedule has now been somewhat ruined. Yeah. I was quite proud of it, getting up, because I was getting up at like 8 a.m. I was having breakfast again. It was great.
I mean, any meal after sleeping is breakfast.
No, I disagree.
Well, because, it's break fast. You are breaking your sleeping
You
fast.
might be technically correct,
yes.
But my definition, no. Breakfast is an allotted time as hotels define between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Okay, I mean, on weekends, sometimes they go to 11.
Sometimes they do go to 11. I will allow 11.
Okay. There will be League of Legends happening.
There will
by
be.
The way. We're just waiting for this lobby to be remade because of a rune bug going into the game. They're already about halfway through setting up the second lobby, so shouldn't be too long at all. As a reminder for everyone, it's best of 3 single round robin here in the LEC for the next 7 weeks. It's been a while since we've had a 7-week regular season. I'm looking forward to seeing the teams iterate a little bit more across the course of the split.
Yeah, crucially, they only get one chance to play their opponent, which I do think is pretty interesting just because typically teams ramp up. So some teams will stay the same. They'll come into the split, they'll start strong, but then they won't actually make significant improvements. And so then other teams will improve around them and then gradually get better. Whereas other teams are just teams that ramp very quickly, and so they get their footing under their belt, they understand how they want to play the game. Like G2 is a great example of sometimes they have poor meta reads, they can have a few bad weeks, and then they're very quickly, once they've got the champions that they're confident on, can then develop very quickly. But that means that depending on when you play a team during the split can very much shape the difficulty, which is, it adds a lot of importance in winning out on these best of 3s. But that's the big shift. You now have that best of 3 to turn things around. So even if you do lose the first game, you have the ability to adapt, change, and come up with a new plan.
I mean, there's also the whole discussion on some teams will play twice in a week. Some teams will only play once in a week.
Also true.
If your bad week coincides with when you play twice, that's a much bigger loss than if your bad week coincides with when you play once. GIANTX are playing today and tomorrow against, obviously, Fnatic now and then Vitality. Fnatic play SK on Monday. The usual start time will be 5 p.m.
Yes.
Just on these Saturdays, we will be going for a 2 p.m. start, because otherwise we'd all be here until about 3 in the morning, and I'll be honest, that is well past my bedtime.
Quite right. Now,
in fact, that's closer to my wake-up time than anything else. Let's get into the action, come on. Fnatic versus GIANTX to kick us off here in Spring, off the back of a stellar performance by Carmine Core at first stand. Hopes in EU are rising. They haven't risen entirely, but the water slowly creeps up, and we are all buoyed upon it.
And you've heard of trash talk.
Yes.
But have you heard of best friend talk?
Oh, okay.
Because immediately in the all chat, both Oscar and Noah expressing how much they love each other.
Oh.
And how happy they are to be playing against one another today. Oscar even says, "You are number 1." Isn't that sweet?
I mean, that's just a blatant lie.
Why? Former teammates expressing camaraderie with one another, now battling on the rift as enemies. Sweet to see, I would say.
I mean, it's nice to see. I'll agree with that. I think the Noah Jun with Oscar combination for Fnatic last year was very solid. Interesting that it was Noah who reached out originally. Okay, because I was going to say for Oscar, didn't say anything to Jun, which
it's very specific.
It was very specifically Noah said, "I love you, Oscar."
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. As GIANTX are going to go for a red side invade here. Razork starting on the top side of the map. Won't really be able to answer this. We do have a ward at the Razor Beaks placed by Jackies, so GIANTX will spot if Razork decides to go in and try and steal away that top side.
I think one of the advantages of doing this is we talked about how Fnatic's bot lane 2v2, it's very powerful in terms of its ability to trade, thanks to the E and the feathers from Upset. So taking the jungler away from this bot lane limits their ability to fight and build advantages. Razork going to adapt his pathing, immediately moves towards the Raptors, wanting to make sure that in the event that Isma clears red into Raptors and moves back over, as you're seeing right now. Jun, not going to take a great trade there. But I like this adaptation from Razork, securing what camps he can. The smite will come through.
I mean, he's got to be careful here, because you can flash the wall, but Isma can chase with a flash of his own into the stun. Lot's working his way down as well. Razork trying to get to safety, but the chase continues. Jackie's begins to collapse, and with Razork not having a flash, there's a blast cone close enough to him. He'll get to it, he'll blast away, and will escape to survive for now.
Wow, Isma going to be able to move into the blue side of the jungle now as well. Humanoid going for a bit of a trade in mid. So the idea there being that Razork wanted to try and cross-map so that he didn't lose Raptors. Isma securing both the red and his Raptors, immediately crossed through mid, thanks to the pressure that Jackie's has, and is able to force the flash out because Razork didn't take the E early, as you wouldn't. It would really affect your jungle clear. But of course, Isma wisely knows to continue with that chase. With the top lane push that he had, along with the mid lane push, advantage gained already for GIANTX.
Jackie's trying to jump on Humanoid's head there, looking for the resets. Does get the little explosive charge down, and Humanoid takes about an equal trade in the mid lane. Across the board, though, slight advantage for GIANTX kicking off this game. And now we'll see Mikyx and Razork trying to team up to go in towards this blue. Isma's on his way, but doesn't have his smite, nor does Razork. If Isma can get there in time, maybe we'll see a little bit of a fight around it. Jackie's on very much the wrong side of that trade. And Razork forced out of the jungle once again. We'll have his smite up in a second. Looks like Isma's going to accept that he can't battle for the Scuttle Crab and instead just make sure that he takes that blue. Exhaust going out from Lot here as he snips his way through Oscarinin.
Is this a kill for Oscar? Once the W falls off. I think Lot wisely, yeah, well, he's running the exhaust, not the flash. Oscar, once he gets enough heat, he'd have so much damage available. And I think Lot wisely recognizes that he's within kill range there. So he goes back to base. Has the TP available. Oscar going to quickly push this one in. Maybe he could even save his TP. As Humanoid gets some really nice trades in the mid lane. Typically, when it comes to like the straight up trades, Tristana should have that advantage thanks to the E.
And the range advantage as well.
Yeah, so the fact that Humanoid is able to get these advantageous trades, especially in the early laning phase, is really good to see. Giving him a small advantage in the CS department. Going to push this underneath the tower as the TP comes through.
We see Upset and Mikyx just farming through the bot lane. They're holding this wave for the moment. It will start to... Actually, it might just be frozen right here. That cannon minion doing enough work that Jun and Noah will have to come and make sure it pushes out. Just missing out on that final minion. But overall, good start for GIANTX. Isma able to clear out through his topside jungle. You can see Razork did get double scuttle, so he kind of evened out the CS discrepancy a little bit. Hook going in from Jun, has to flash away. Won't land the root on Mikyx, but unable to really follow up on that play at all.
Jun being quite confident with his hooks there. I think it's a really dangerous thing to do, especially with feathers already on the ground. But he's going to lose his flash as a consequence of that attempt. You know, we can see both junglers hovering around the top side of the map. Remember that grubs are spawning in about 25 seconds. Humanoid, again, with good pressure in the mid lane matchup. CS advantages coming across the board as the ultimate comes down from Oscar.
Yeah, the equalizer down. Lot's going to try and dash his way away from this with the skip and slash, but Oscar flashes. Flame Spit is enough, and he survives as well with the triumph. Oscar triumphant in the top lane.
Oscar was just spamming those pots as he got closer to the tower. Ends up securing a solo kill, and that's the risk of expending that exhaust early on. Lot not being able to find that kill, the level advantage that Oscar had, securing first blood of the Spring Split in the top side of the map.
Isma's going to be able to get the dragon here, but it's going to be exchange for Razork on those grubs. A typical exchange that we've seen across the last few months. Grubs for Drake. Bot lane, though, for Mikyx and Upset has been going softly so far. Really comes online when you get towards that 6, obviously. Combination of the Feather Storm and the quickness, so powerful. for that 2v2. It's one of the reasons Xayah Rakan is sought after. Jackie's going to jump in here. We'll get the reset as that explosive shot goes off. Looking for a little bit more damage. Has the buster shot as well, but doesn't quite do 300. Isma waiting around the corner as Razork begins to step forward. He flashes for it, and I don't think he was expecting Isma to be waiting in the wings. He'll dash away, though. Jackie's surviving from now. Does have a flash of his own. Will use it across the wall. The collapse beginning to come in as Mikyx can move from the bot lane first. Jun's going to try and stop him, though, and will do so with the staggering blows. Hooks Mikyx, but not before the grand entrance does get the knock-up. Isma's going to die to Humanoid. Mikyx falling low. He'll dash back. That ignite's going to be enough. The honey fruit, the honey fruit, the honey fruit for Mikyx. Gobbles them up and manages to stay alive.
So close to losing his life if it weren't for the well-placed honey fruits.
All part of the plan, Betty.
GX would have been able to get on the board. Wow. I mean, that was a close one. Fnatic leading the kills now 2-0. They end up getting that kill onto Isma after he tried to flash away. Both Razork and Humanoid committing to getting that kill. But connects.
Yeah, Upset has both Cleanse and Flash and will use both of them to escape the clutches of Jun and Noah. A little bit greedy from his positioning there. Yeah. Could have flashed away from the hook as well and then wouldn't have had to burn the Cleanse. We'll have another look at this play in the mid lane.
So Humanoid's very patient with his ultimate here. The threat of the ulti basically being utilized to force the flash out from Jackie's. Then when they think they're in a good position to lock down Isma, the E comes back up for Humanoid and then they get the flash out. And basically they...
man, this champ though, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You miss all your abilities and you just have the movement speed
I mean, he had 50% of his HP. Most champions could have got that kill.
Not from that range, Vedius. Most people have to, like, they don't get a free movement speed.
He flashed. He flashed.
I'm glad he's getting gutted. I hope he's gutted even more. Mikyx caught out a little bit, but he's going to be able to walk away.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was a questionable flash, to say the least. I mean, I know he wanted to interrupt the back, but wave is going to be held for upsets.
Wait, you mean Jun's flash?
Yeah.
It wasn't a Hex flash?
Am I wrong?
It might have been an actual flash. Sorry, I was more frustrated with Yone existing as a champion in League of Legends than anything else. I think it might have been Hex across the wall, but you'll have a quick look back.
You're right, my bad, my bad. You're right, you're right.
No worries. It's hard to tell when you just cut to the action and then you see someone jumping in like that,
I was also just listening to someone rant
about Yone, yeah. But I'm just trying to embody the general audience. As Humanoid does go onto Lot here. Remember, no flash, no ghost for Lot. The needlework coming out. Exhaust on Humanoid's almost enough. Lot almost cuts down Humanoid, but in the end won't be able to survive the onslaught of Razork. 3-0 now to Fnatic.
Kills continuing to stack up in Fnatic's favor, but GIANTX looking to make the cross map happen. The problem is they don't have a wave to play on. Mikyx also reads the play and is making his way towards the bot lane.
Mikyx knows 6.
Oscar, he doesn't have his ultimate available.
Wave is going to come in. Mikyx's going to face check. Can just battle dance back, still has the flash. Oscar's flash about to come off cooldown as well. And as you say, this dive is not happening. The waters are too choppy. Not enough visibility for GIANTX.
They should take Mikyx over to level 6 as well, which is a crucial level for the Rakan. As objectives will slowly make their way back out onto the map. Grubs 30 seconds on the top side of the map. You can see Upset making his way up towards the top side river as well as they set their sights onto Jackie's.
Jackie's doesn't have the flash, and Humanoid's just eating through him. Here comes Razork across the walls. Jackie's going to jump across. Does get the buster shot back onto Razork. Still eats a stone in the back for his time. And now likely just needs to reset. Grubs up in 5 seconds time. Razork can start that up. Noah's going to jump away from Mikyx. But I don't really think GIANTX want to contest this, especially Jackie's just TP'd back to the top lane, so now doesn't have that teleport to get here quickly.
I mean, early game just going heavily in favor of Fnatic. Of course, I would say that this is something that doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
They're a team that has always been very good at finding early game advantages. Razork, I mean, still touted as one of, if not the best performing jungler from last split. Obviously, you can definitely debate that topic, but still, domestically, one of the best performers, and he's very good at finding those early advantages. Even though he was put at a slight deficit, as, oh, bit of dangerous.
He's got his ultimate.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Why wouldn't you love this champion, Vedius? No flash has already used his key escape tool.
The thing is,
I'll just ultimate away.
I always just play Nocturne into it, so I don't. This champ means nothing to me. He loses to Nocturne.
It does lose to Nocturne, that is true.
Yeah, so this...
I'm going to get off my hate your name train.
You and Flowers, you know.
I just hate the champ. It's just... Ugh, nothing should be that easy.
I hate Sjokz. I'm grateful that he's
Yeah, but I think most people hate Sjokz.
You think?
Mostly because no one knows how to pronounce it. It's like the whole scone debate.
Well, how do you say taco?
I say taco.
Sjokz.
But it's got an H there. Taco doesn't have an H after the T. That would be Thaco.
What? Okay, that's confused me. We're not going into that in a minute. Thanos.
Thanos, yes.
See?
So Thaco.
That's not a word.
So Shako.
That's what I think.
Shako?
Shako's very British, I will say.
Honestly, it's a proper noun. They can pick how they want it to be pronounced. That's what I do with Warwick, even though it should be Warwick.
Razork is ready to contest this.
That he is. He's going to come around the corner. Upset's on his way as well. Razork flashing in. The Drake secured. Isma flashes away. And the chase continues, though, with the quickness coming out. Isma, now with no flash, is down. Upset gets the kill. It's 4-0. And although, you know, Isma had a bit of fancy feet to get away from Razork's ult, the chase from Mikyx was enough. Did have to burn his flash alongside Razork's flash, but overall, Fnatic are just running this game. Like, GIANTX...
I mean, I think it was very much an overcommitment for a single kill. They will convert it into plates, so definitely end up getting a lot out of the play, because I was initially concerned, given that they still lost the Drake. There was on the top side of the map the ability for GIANTX to start pressuring that tower, but they're doing the same thing on the bot side. They're getting a huge amount of damage done onto this tower. With this next minion wave, they may even be able to secure it. With the 6 scrubs providing a lot of value, it's looking to be first tower advantage to Fnatic. So I was questionable. I thought the play was questionable, sorry. Overcommitting onto Isma, but they make it work massively. Now, with a 4.1k gold lead here in game 1.
Yeah, they're in such a strong position, and they've also shut down this Gwen really well. Flash away from Jackie's. Humanoid will dash back. Mikyx was there for follow-up. But yeah, they've shut down this Gwen really well, which is something I did want to highlight, because we said it, you know, it's blind pickable. It is that strong at the moment, but they have really put Lot in a very deep hole, 1.3 thousand
kill typically helps with that.
It does, yeah. I mean, credit, that's what I'm saying. Credit Oscarinin and credit to Fnatic. They played it really well, right?
I mean, they've just continued to build off of their advantages. And the mid game, the famous Duffman, known for fixer of mid games.
Yeah, he's been there for 3 whole weeks now, Vedi. I'm sure he's rectified 5 years of struggle.
Everything will be evaluated, absolutely everything. And
it's like me when I go to the gym.
If they have
I've done 10 sit-ups, why don't I have a 6-pack?
If they have one good mid-game, I mean, that'll be it. Duffman will have saved Fnatic.
The question is it Duff Light or the original Duff that we're going to get here?
We're going to find out, because right now, Fnatic have a commanding lead. We're transitioning into the mid-game. The Herald spawned in about a minute and a half. Item spikes have come through for Fnatic, and they're poised and eager for a fight. Might just find one.
Hey, Razork's just stepping in here. It's a 2v3 right now. TP's coming in from either side. Good Impale will catch 2. Death charge onto Humanoid. Upsetting Mikyx here though now, and with the quickness available, Mikyx could look to go in. Equalizer on Jun. He has to flash away. The rest of GIANTX scattering to all the 4 corners of the map, and will manage to escape. Overall, I mean, what did we lose? A flash here, a TP there. Both the top laners did teleport in.
Well, pressure is what Fnatic's largely gained because they have the health advantage over GIANTX. They did commit teleports to the top side, but now they can set their sights on that tower. I say that, but Fnatic immediately returning to standard lanes. Razork has jungle camps that he wants to clear, so he went back to base, moving into his bot side. He's going to look to grab his red buff, and it looks like Fnatic do not want to overstay their welcome on the top side of the map and run the risk of going for that tower and a potential misplay.
One of the small risks for Fnatic is that they are 2 dragons down and the 3rd one up in a minute and a half. A big risk for Mikyx, though, is with that Buster Shot following. It's enough for GIANTX to get on the board for the first time here in Spring.
Bit of a misplay there from Mikyx. Goes into an area of the map where he does not have vision. He gets caught out. Of course, this gives Oscar a lot of information on the top side of the map. He utilizes it to get a lot of pressure.
And Gwen is getting towards that 2-item point, though, and with Riftmaker and the Needlework, the exhaust going down. Oscarinin doesn't have the equalizer, has to flash away. Lot can continue to chase. As we said before, though, no ghost, no flash. So as soon as someone's out of his range, unless he has that skip and slash up, it's a bit hard to continue the chase. Razork is looking for some pressure down towards this bottom side. A minute on the Drake. Some vision in here would help them out a lot. Upset's on his way up towards the top lane, and Lot is in a lot of bother. A spot of it, perhaps, as Upset chases him down. There's the root, and even through everything that Lot can do. Oscarinin actually picks up the kill in the end with the Leandry.
All Oscar. Upset coming in with the assist.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Should be another tower secured for Fnatic as they extend the kill score to 5. The goal difference not really changing, but after securing this tower, they should be able to gain a greater advantage. And notice, the only objective that GIANTX have been able to find on the map are these dragons, and spawning in 20 seconds, Fnatic, well, they likely want to be in position, but given that they've committed to this Herald, I think they will be late to the objective.
Yeah, I was thinking, it feels like it's a play that could domino for them. They get top tower, they push in top, they get this Rift Herald, they then use the Rift Herald mid to take mid tower while they can also pressure around the dragon, but they are going to be a little bit late to this dragon, as you say, Vedi. Razork should be able to secure this, doesn't really want to use the smite unless he has a second charge waiting, which he might, and he does, as he smites the Rift Herald. Hex Flash into the hook, they dive onto Mikyx immediately. He's stunned up, he's locked down, and GIANTX get a quick kill, a pick kill on the Fnatic support, and because of that, Fnatic realize they can't really pressure around this Drake anymore, so GIANTX will be on Infernal Soul points.
Just a good pick from GIANTX, recognizing that Mikyx was fishing for vision, trying to scout what options Fnatic could have when it comes to contesting this dragon, but he was not given any. Instead, he had to sacrifice his life in exchange for GIANTX securing that third dragon. As you highlighted, soul point for GIANTX. So a clear win condition possibility. Of course, they still find themselves at a pretty significant deficit. The gold does not make fighting for that Dragon Soul any easier, as Fnatic is quickly on the track to securing their second major item. It is blue across the board on the bot side of the map with a 1.4k individual lead for Upset. 207 CS at 18.5 minutes.
That's pretty good.
He's having a farm fiesta here in game 1.
A chunk of change that he's farmed off those minions, robbing their lunch money. As Mikyx and Humanoid once again look to see if they can double up on the bot side. Junno with Noah, been able to find a few of these picks. Isma coming around the corner, tries to get onto Humanoid, will be able to get the stun. He dashes back, but look at the damage running Humanoid, quickly across the wall. TP coming in, a 3-man impale from Razork. Humanoid falls first, but now with the equalizer burning through Isma and through Jun. That's 2 to Oscar, actually 2 to Upset. Oscar falling low though, as Laure tries to dash forward, but he's interrupted by Mikyx just in time to save his top laner. 3 kills to Fnatic.
Mispositioning from Humanoid turns into a massively one team fight for Fnatic. The collapse was quick. A nice TP from Oscar was necessary to turn the fight in Fnatic's favor. That choke point providing so much value for the Rumble ultimate, allowing Fnatic to win out on the fight.
Yeah, the impale into the TP equalizer was sublime here from Fnatic. I want you to watch Mikyx as well with the final knock-up and locked to save Oscarinin.
Again, crucial to recognize Humanoid is in a bad position here, overstepping where he shouldn't be. He should have been punished, but again, Fnatic so quick to collapse, converted into a massive teamfight win. Upset utilizing the equalizer to help clean up those kills, and while it looked very scary as Lot was really starting to ramp up, he couldn't quite connect the ultimate to secure that trade kill onto Oscar, and he ends up losing his life. Ends up being a 3-for-1 in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, credit to Mikyx as well for the start of that fight. Did land the charm on all 3 members of GIANTX, which allows the impale to be a little bit easier. It's kind of the synergy that Fnatic have. If Humanoid's Fate Sealed hits, then you have the follow-up, you have the equalizer there, the impale as well. Rakan has spawned. As we'll see if GIANTX or Fnatic want to go for it. The gold lead extending a little bit for Fnatic, 5.5k, 2.5 minutes on the next Drake, which is really what GIANTX will be looking for. They do have 2 items on Noah, and that's about it. Whereas there's 2 items already complete on Upset. Actually, only the AD carry so far there. Upset also has an extra BF sword over Noah, though. He's in prime position to carry a fight if he is needed or required to. As Fnatic will start up the Rakan, and expectations are GIANTX can't really challenge. They are starting to make their way across here, though. Oscarinin has that equalizer again. Mikyx's going to jump in. True Shot Barrage coming out as well. The TP behind here by Jackie's. Humanoid's a long way away. The equalizer has been popped by 1000 on the Rakan. Looking to run out of patience. Humanoid now TPing up above them all as Noah dashes away. Jun getting burned down. Jackie's already dead. And it's all gone wrong for GIANTX. The smite landed by Razork as well. They'll pick up Voracious. Isma having to flash away. Noah needing to dash the wall, but the chase continues. Razork puts down the Rift Herald as they know this chase will continue. Fnatic find 3 again, and they're looking to crack through topside.
I mean, I feel like that is the final nail in the coffin for GIANTX in this game one. A convincing team fight once more, securing 3 kills, unlocking the top tier 2, the mid tier 1. The map is falling apart. And with this second life as well, Fnatic is going to look to quickly get back out onto the map and start another fight as quickly as possible. Remember, Dragon in a minute's time as well. If GIANTX can get a hold of that Dragon, maybe there's a way that they can turn this game around. But we look back at the fight, they're forcing into this choke point, and the Rumble ultimate going to get a lot of value. The Locket providing good shielding to mitigate some of that damage, but they're so clumped up. You'll notice how quickly Jackies gets CC'd. Nice knockup comes through from Mikyx.
Yeah.
The Impale comes in from Razork, and the damage is there from Upset. They're doing their best to avoid hitting the Rakan, and even through all of that, as Isma tries his best to get the steal, Razork still able to find the smite. No ends up falling on the back end. And Fnatic with another convincing team fight.
Really well played by Mikyx there to get the catch onto Jackies, making sure that as soon as you kill one of the AD carries when you're in this far of a lead, it's so easy for you just to rip through the rest of the game. And you can see it's just been a real struggle for GIANTX. They've been outplayed across the map, played poorly at times as well. Their positioning on certain plays has been questionable. But they do still have the rest of 3 to try and bounce back, and that's what they'll be thinking about. Do we change draft? Do we look for another team fighting composition going into the second game? Because right now, Fnatic have just taken a lane lead and absolutely blown GIANTX out of the water.
They certainly have. Fnatic looking convincing here in their first game, and I think a lot of it comes just off of proficient laning. You know, the solo kill on the top side of the map, the overextensions from Yone in the bot lane 2 versus 2, allowing Upset and Mikyx to just keep punishing him. And then Humanoid just with some really nice trades onto Jackies in a matchup that should be a lot worse earlier.
Upset just blast coned into a 1v3, and Yone is the one walking away. Noah's dashing away as well. Obviously, Humanoid and Razork were waiting around the corner. They could have come in. Mikyx looking for Yone, and he takes him out. Used the quickness to do so. I mean, that's the Portal combat if I've ever seen it. Oscarinin, though, getting chased down by Jackies and Isma. That will be a good shutdown to Jackies. Put some more gold in his pockets, but it's too little too late, you have to feel, as Fnatic will take another tower off this push.
So, bit of a misplay from Oscar, overextending on the top side. He thought that he was safer than he was because he had Razork supporting him. Unfortunately, Razork couldn't quite collapse quickly enough, meaning that GIANTX end up trading a kill, but with a 10k gold difference, it's really pennies to what is the deficit that they find themselves in. You talked about it, Upset blast coned his way in. He knows how strong he is. He also has the second life. So even if he does die in this situation, he's not going to be too upset about it. And then Mikyx, he finds a creative flank.
That's bot lane synergy for you right there.
He's able to get that nice kill onto Yone. So we get back into the action, and now the focus becomes Baron. Likely the last objective that Fnatic will need to close out this game. They're fishing for a pick, and they may have found one.
Jackies has to flash away, but there's the Impale again. And that Tristana is done for. Second time he's died this game, and Fnatic, they've done a really good job of finding these picks before fights, or finding these picks at the start of fights, allowing them just to set up around objectives. We saw it at the Rakan, now we'll see it around the Baron as well. Isma can look for the steal, but Mikyx hovering around the backside of the Baron to make sure that Isma can't quite get in as easily as he would like. Doesn't have the flash either. True Shot Barrage goes in, there's the Baron secured, and Fnatic will dive over the wall, and Isma immediately dies as well. 14 kills to 4, 12,500 gold, the lead for Fnatic. It is all done but them walking it through this base.
A clinical demolition in favor of Fnatic as they set their sights on the final towers defending the base. The inhibitors soon to fall.
Do you think when Oscar said that you're number 1 to Noah, that Upset took it personally? He's just like, hey, I'm just not going to die. I'm going to have like a 3,000 gold lead by the end of the game in the isolated 1v1. Obviously, League a team game and bot lane. Yeah, there wasn't too much action there in the early game. Upset taking a bit of a chunk, the Locket coming out, as well as Mikyx falling low. True Shot Barrage won't be enough to kill off the Rakan. He can just dash out. He's standing on vision, but Baron Empowered Recall should be enough. Upset can use the last second of that to get back quicker himself, save 3 whole seconds of time. I would call it a frame-perfect trick, but it's nowhere near that, Vedi. He's got about 60 frames to do that.
The question is, where does this fall on the Duffman mid-game scale? You know what I mean?
I don't think mid-game hasn't existed in this game, buddy.
Oh, it has.
No, there's been no mid-game.
It's okay. You're not a follower of the Duffman mid-game, so it's fine. It's okay.
Explain to me.
So, I mean, every single objective between the 14-minute mark and 25-minute mark is the mid-game. Your setup, your attention to detail. And what I will say is I think that there's some mistakes that we've seen from Fnatic, missed positions. Humanoid, he was crucially too deep in the enemy jungle. He should have lost his life, and if it weren't for the fact that Fnatic had that lead and turned it into a big fight, it could have ended in disaster.
Very true.
So overall, I think, you know, not the greatest mid-game of all time, but pretty solid, I would say. I'm impressed with what Duffman can do in such limited time.
Good on you, Duff. You've transformed Fnatic from a team that wins the early game and then plays mid-games okay sometimes to a team that really wins the early game and then has played mid-game okay one time. Great job. I will say GIANTX haven't left us much to wonder about as to whether they've improved a lot since winter. At least off this game, things haven't really seemed to change for them. They had a great start to the winter split, but then really fell off as the split went on. Oh, Offset's being caught, Featherstorm coming out, double impale, and he brings the roots back. Those feathers just absolutely ripping through. It's a double already for Upset, and they're looking for more. Lot, Noah, and Jun forced back to the fountain. The Nexus towers will be forfeit, as will the Nexus. Fnatic off to a flying start here in Spring.
I mean, a convincing Game 1 performance to start off their split. 28 minutes, pretty much on the dot. And what was a 16k gold lead. Impressive stuff, really solid laning from Fnatic, and a good transition of that early game lead into a solid and convincing win. Of course, best of 3, fearless. GIANTX will have an opportunity to bounce back, to adapt in the best of 3, and we'll see how things go. But we're going to toss to a quick interview with Laure.
Thank you, guys. Oscar, what do you think about swap lanes being gone, Gwen being back?
I'm really happy with the swaps being gone, obviously. I think it's way more fun to play lane, actually. So yeah, I think everyone in this team is also very good laning, so I'm very happy about that. And about Gwen, I think the champion is pretty OP. I think it was kind of OP before, but people wasn't playing it as much. Now, I think people are overplaying it, but I think it's completely broken, yeah.
Any comments on your mid laner missing a lot of spells, still killing people?
I mean, I think it just shows that Yone is completely broken too. Like, you don't need to hit anything, just out-attack the enemy team and you will kill them, so yeah.
Oscar, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you join your team. We're gonna take a break right now. We'll be back for Game 2 right after this.
He doesn't like that. Look at him, he's a good boy, but he don't like that.
Maybe we could play some A-rounds or something like that. I mean, this is map, right? New tower, new objective.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Red Bull gives you wings.